Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Emily Punt, the Director of Athletics Annual Giving at Augustana Athletics. Thanks for joining us for Augie Insider today. I'm looking forward to recapping this last weekend against Winona and taking a look at our games against Upper Iowa this weekend. We have Lauren Cease from the women's basketball team with us, as well as Katie Bourk and Coach Billeter. So I'll turn it over to Josh Morton to get us started.
All right, thanks a lot, Emily. I'll start with just some quick NSIC updates for everybody. Spring sports, we're almost to the point where we have a competition plan laid out for the spring sports that should get approved this week. Essentially, just kind of talks about how to do non-conference play and when we can start conference play. But the good news is it's a plan to get just similar to the winter sports that gets us to compete. So we're excited to take that step. And it's hard to believe that our actual first spring sport competition is this weekend. Our women's tennis team travels to Missouri. So that'll be a lot of fun. So we'll also likely announce this week as a league how the conference basketball tournament will work. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited about where I think that's going, but it still needs to go through some approval process with the league. Wrestling, we lost our first home duel on Sunday to St. Cloud State. Right now, we're only allowing family to attend, but it is available on the live stream. And it's just harder for us at the Elman Center to allow fans. The Pentagon just set up so well for it with seating in pods and the plexiglass and the safety. But we wanted to make sure that parents could come. So we're still with a parent-only policy for wrestling at the Elman Center. Indoor track and field competed the last 2 weeks. They were in Brookings last weekend, had another great weekend as they build up to a conference championships at the end of February. Swimming and diving competed 2 weeks ago, and they won't get much competition in before the NSIC swimming and diving championships in Fargo that are coming up in about mid-February. So let's get to basketball. We'll start with the women's side and filling in for Coach Kraut today, assistant coach Katie Bourk. Interesting weekend for the women. Win at Winona State in overtime Friday night. Then we find out Saturday that due to COVID issues on the Winona State side, we couldn't play on Saturday. Now our team is safe. We followed protocols. We're on track to play this weekend. But disappointing to only get one game in, Coach. But at least I guess it was a win.
Yeah, disappointed would probably be the right way to put that. It's tough. You make the trip there, get an overtime win on Friday night, and we had gone to breakfast, done our film study, kind of just talked about our scouting stuff. We don't do a shoot around on Saturday, and we just left film, and then we get the word that, hey, we're getting on the bus and coming home. So it was disappointing. I think it sat with our kids for most of the bus ride home. They were definitely disappointed and just want to play. But again, like you said, we've kind of just turned our attention to, hey, it's a new week. We should be good to go for this week. And now we just got to get ready for Upper Iowa. So that's kind of where our focus is at, especially today as we get ready to practice and just get ready for the Peacocks.
Yeah, I'm going to ask both you and Lauren this question, but for most of us who are watching, the live stream went out right at the game time shot. so talk us through the play. Izzy hits a three, down by 3 to force overtime. Tell us about the play.
Yeah, we had just kind of got the ball in there. It was 25 seconds-ish, somewhere in there. So we almost were kind of going for whatever shot we could get, but a quick 2 is going to be fine. Got the ball into Ashlyn, made a good move, thought, she got a good look, missed it. Somehow Lauren was down there to get the rebound, and Izzy had kind of made her way in to rebound a little bit too. But Lauren got the ball and threw it out to Izzy, who took like one dribble, reset her feet, and hit the 3. So it was a big shot, and if anybody looked at the stats, Izzy was 0 for at that point in time. So kind of a gutsy shot for her to take, but didn't really have any other option either. So if you're going to go, 1 for 8 from 3, that was the one to make. So that was nice.
Yeah, that's great. So Lauren, from your perspective, walk us through that play that sent the game to overtime.
I don't know. It was nervous. I don't get a lot of rebounds. Katie can back me up on that. But it's kind of right position, right play. I had full confidence that Izzy was going to make that, and she did, and kept us alive, and we ended up pulling it through. So that was nice.
No, that's great. Lauren's a sophomore guard from Avon, South Dakota. Last year, remember, she was on the NSIC all freshman team. I guess as from a player's perspective, Lauren, every game you play and certainly then every win that you get in a year like this where you just don't know sometimes week to week makes it even more important that you got the win in overtime on Friday.
Oh, 100%. Like you said, we're lucky we've played a majority of our games. A lot of teams throughout the conference haven't. So, I mean, hopefully it's just this one that we have to miss and like just keep moving on.
Coach Burke, talk about Upper Iowa just a little bit. Hosting Friday and Saturday here at the Pentagon. I know it'll be nice to be home, but Upper Iowa has been improved. You know, they've had a couple of down years, but they're improved this year.
Yeah, definitely improved. You know, even you saw it last year, they didn't win a lot of games, but you could start to see that their culture was taking place, and they just play a lot harder now. And maybe they're one of those teams that haven't won a lot, so they just got to learn how to win. And this weekend, you know, against Wayne, they had 2 close games, lost by 8 Saturday night and lost by 5 on Friday. So they were right there. Again, kind of a young team that's just trying to figure it out, but for the most part, all their games have been close. They're playing hard, and I'm sure they're going to come out and give us a good effort. Their best player, kid that was really good last year, has been hurt, I think. So I don't know if we'll see her or not, but they've got a 5'3" freshman kid that's, you know, had 29 in one game this weekend and had a 30-point game earlier in the year. So they'll give us a good challenge and present some challenges for us. So just kind of like every weekend, we just need to focus on, you know, getting stops and rebounding. And then again, hopefully shooting the ball a little better than we did this weekend at Winona.
What do you make of the women's side? You know, here we are at the end of January. Standings are kind of all over the place.
Yep. Just kind of like we talked about before, it's going to be hard to sweep teams. And, you know, Mankato was picked to win the league and they're 3-3. USF, you know, has the least amount of kids back and they finally got their first loss this weekend at Concordia. So it's kind of, like you said, all over the place, and just kind of in these last, you know, 4 weeks, probably going to be the team that can figure out a way to get a couple sweeps here and there, string some wins together, and hopefully get some separation there. Yeah.
Lauren, I know we got to let you go here because you got to get into the weight room. But you're to tell us what your major is, what you want to do, and in the class you're taking for J-term.
I'm a elementary education major. I also have a minor in special education. I'm planning on getting my middle school endorsement. I really would like to be in that age group. Hopefully do some coaching. Kind of just depends where I'm at. I'm also just taking technology and education for my J-term class, which has been super fun, super interesting. So I've really enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, and I mean, as a campus, technology and education, we've learned a lot in the last 10 months because we've had to. So that's a good timing to be in a pandemic and learning about technology and how it relates to education, I bet.
Yes, it has, unfortunately, but
yeah,
it has helped a lot.
And God bless you for wanting to work with middle school students. I have one right now, and I have had 2 others before her, and we're happy to give them to someone else for 8 hours a day. So good for you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Lauren. You can jump off and go hit the weight room. Thanks a lot for joining us, and best of luck this weekend.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Lauren. All right. Let's switch to men's basketball. Coach Billeter, a split with Winona State. And you end the weekend on a high note, playing really well. How would you sum up the weekend with the Warriors?
It was weird. It was one bad half, you know, and maybe credit Winona. I think after watching the replay of our Saturday game, they played great. They really played well. Sometimes that happens, and you know what? We didn't. And so we're going to have everyone's best shot. I keep talking about it. You know, our theme a little bit, my team, is we have to be tough enough. We have to be good enough to represent the Pentagon, because these guys come into the Pentagon and they play great. And I think you saw some outstanding individual performances by Winona. Kevion Taylor that day, you know, he's got 17 at the half, ends up with 28. Young man named Nick Klug, who was 0 for 5 from 3 going into that game. He's 4 for 4 against us, all in the second half. Critical shots that he made. You know, watching the film, he's 2 feet behind the NBA 3-point line on 2 of them. And our zone was giving him trouble. You know, that we gotten down 12, 13, and we had crept it back, and we kept getting within one. Then they'd make a run. They'd hit a three. They'd get a 3-point play. They would do something to always get the lead just a little bit back into control. Actually got it to double figures again, and we'd come back, clawing back. And, we put ourselves at the end with 8 seconds left to have a shot for a three to tie the game. And, second half, we played well. The second half, we played the way we needed to play both halves. And then I thought on Sunday, we did play well. We really played well. We weren't making shots, and our defense never quit. Dylan LeBroom guarded Kevion Taylor the second half of Saturday and the entire game Sunday. And he went from having 17 points and a half with Dylan not on him to scoring, I think, another maybe 13 the rest of the 3 halves left. And so, total. So, our matchups, we changed up a little bit. We tweaked some things. Definitely on Sunday, we changed up a few things, which is what's really kind of advantageous playing Friday to, Saturday, our case Saturday to Sunday. Went back to my house. My staff and I stayed up late and watched a bunch of film and put some things together. And to be honest, we guarded them a little bit different on Sunday, and I think it helped us. And my staff does a great job, and our guys really wanted to win, and so did Winona. It's a good basketball team. It was a really good game on both nights, actually.
Yeah, it really was. And boy, Dylan, second half on Saturday, and just kind of kept the momentum coming on Sunday. I think he hit his first 3 shots on yesterday too.
What's funny is Dylan had a horrible first half on Saturday. He was 0 for, I don't even remember, 0 for 4, 0 for 3 from half. He didn't have a basket. I don't even know. Maybe he had 1 rebound. And he played a lot. He played 15 minutes. We made the switch to have him guard Kevion, who had 17 at that time. And he just started making baskets. He had a great second half offensively, did a great job defensively. And I've coached kids like that before. You give them a tough defensive assignment, and all of a sudden their offense is better, and they're just so into the game, and they're so intense. And Dylan's always ready to play. I don't mean it that way at all, but we gave him the toughest matchup, toughest assignment, and all of a sudden his offense came alive as well. And so not everyone can do that. He's one of those, I think, that really wants that. He relishes that opportunity to guard their best perimeter player, and he did a heck of a job, and it really brought him alive offensively. But our whole team, it's 33-33 at the half yesterday, and we're not making baskets either. They're guarding us. They're big inside. They're good. They're strong. Got a couple of D1 transfers. I mean, they got a nice team. But our defense hung in there, and we didn't allow them. They took 47 threes. That's a lot of threes. And they really weren't great looks. It wasn't like, they were just missing on Sunday. We guarded their perimeter better. We had hands in their face better. We ran them off the line a couple of times, where they weren't comfortable. So I thought really and truly our guys really hung in there when we weren't making shots. They never quit playing defense, which can happen, and didn't.
Yeah. A couple questions come into the chat, and this is one for both of you. I'll ask Coach Billeter first. This last week for you, we made a last-minute adjustment on Thursday to go to a Saturday, Sunday. How does that impact preparation for you guys as coaches?
You can go first, Katie, if you want.
Preparation wise, I wouldn't say a lot different, especially when you're playing the same team. I think the thing, like even with us, when we pushed back with Mankato, is we didn't push back until like a Wednesday or Thursday. And I think that just would affect your practices. Maybe if you knew you were going to have not play till Saturday, Sunday, you could have taken a Monday off. You could have taken a Tuesday off.
Right.
Whereas when you're that far in the week, you've kind of been practicing hard. It's kind of hard to take a day off there. So probably just like from a practice standpoint, trying to give your kids a break, that could maybe impact it. But as far as your video, your scout, what you're trying to do, maybe it gives you an extra day or just more time to feel comfortable, or you're hoping your kids understand what you're trying to do a little bit better with the extra day.
Yeah, I think to build on that a little bit, our situation was a little bit different. We have 3 kids that are kind of banged up pretty good. It's all their ankles, their feet, different things. So we chose to take last Monday off. Had I known we weren't going to get to practice Thursday, I would have
done that.
Monday off. And that's kind of a roll of the dice. And so what we've been doing is bringing our kids in during the mornings to get shots up. We watch film by position. My coaches, Coach Slaughter and Coach McInnes and Coach Authier, they have a group of kids they bring in and meet. So we actually Thursday morning had shot and had film session. coming back for practice, you gave me the word. We got the word that we had, there's no way you and me both knew it, Josh. We didn't think we were positive, but that's what it was. And we got through it, and our training staff did an outstanding job. Administration did a great job. We got those guys right back, retest, everything worked out. Obviously they weren't. I got to, compliment Winona and Todd Eisner. He and I communicated well together. I know you and Eric Show responded well together, and we got this thing done, and that's what it's going to take. And so you and I had this conversation a while back. There's going to be a whole bunch of curveballs. I mean, this is Burke Blyleven times 10 coming at you every single day, because we are always going to have that opportunity to have this happen. And you just got to be ready for it. And you just mentally can't let it affect you. It probably affects me more than my team. I'd love to say, yep, that's why we stunk the first half on Saturday, but no, that would be false. We got to come back and have our practice on Friday. We didn't think we would. We were able to. The results got back fast. We appreciate that. So, it's kind of like probably when you were playing in the minor leagues in the 1940s. I mean, you're on that bus and you hope the tires don't blow, and you're trying to get from city to city, whether you play or not. You're just glad when you get there. When we get to tip it up, I'm happy. Until we tip it, my heart's still missing a beat every time a text comes up from you or Rennie or somebody, because you're just sitting there going, oh, crud.
Yep. Yep. No, it's a great point. It's not often we get a Circle Me Burt Blyleven reference in the Augie Insider.
It was one of the few twins I could remember that I really wanted to throw that had a mean curveball. And, from those true twin fans, they know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Coach Burke, question about Izzy. She's had a great start to her senior year. And that's how it should go, right? Your senior year should be your best year. Who else have you seen in the last few weeks start to come on a little bit?
Yeah, like you said, Izzy's just been playing really well. She's always a kid that just plays hard, gives you everything she's got. Really tough nose, gets after the rebounds, kind of a shooter for us. And again, did not shoot well, but did enough right things that she stayed on the floor. And then again, was there to make the big shot when we needed it. So she's played well for us. Ashlyn has played well, had a double-double on the weekend. Her and Hannah Mitby both 2 double-doubles in a game, which was nice to see. And I think Vache is just kind of getting there, got some good minutes this weekend, made some baskets, some tough ones for us, and kind of a big one that gave us the lead there at the end of the game too. So I think she's just going to continue to get better as, she gets her legs under her a little bit, gets in more game shape, gets more practices, just gets more comfortable and confident. So, and then again, Lauren has been pretty steady for us, leading us in scoring in some of those games, and had 22, at Winona. So just kind of those kids I think have played pretty hard and are coming around a little bit and giving us some nice things in the last couple of weeks.
No, very good. And one of our guests did correct you, Coach. Our own assistant coach, Caleb Thielbar, pitches for the Twins, and he's got a pretty good curveball as well. So, and
I totally missed that. And he does. You're right. He's a great guy. Enjoy visiting with him, and he's got a mean curveball. I'm sorry. My Twin history is not near as good as my Yankee history. And if I'd have said Jerry Kuzman, from the Mets, people would have been like, "Who in the world are you talking about?" So.
I know another question in the chat about Matt Cartwright. Can you update everyone on Matt's status?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because people are wondering. Matt's like just a great kid, and he's not on the bench, and people are like, what, how did he get in trouble, or what happened to him, and he'll never be in trouble. His deal is we think, I don't know, similar injury to the other knee that he had in the knee that he just rehabbed. Regardless, he's going to have surgery tomorrow morning. And some of it is a little exploratory, but definitely there's damage there from the MRI. Wish him the best. And so he was quarantining. He has to take so many days before the surgery. He has had the virus, but they still make you do that. And so he was watching, I know, from the same as everyone else, and getting frustrated with some of the freeze ups on the stream, kind of wondering what happened. Like you described, I was watching the women's game too, and I'm like, holy cow, we're down 3 and now both huddles are meeting and it's tied. And I'm going, yeah, and I had no idea how it happened. So, that's the same thing with Matt on some of our game, and wish him nothing but the best. I'll tell you what, he'll come back. It's awesome because both knees now are going to be perfect again, and he'll come back. No one will work harder. Even the little bit he got to play, I think people saw what he does for our team, whether he's making shots or not, which was going to come. That was just time. He'd only practiced a handful of times. He'd only practiced half a day before Mankato. Then he'd gotten a weekend for the Concordia games, but I think people saw just a taste of what he does other than that, the deflections and the talking on the floor, and our guys listen to him. He knows everything. He's just such a leader. And those are elements that he'll always have. We when this is done, you always see him. He sits behind me and Colin and my coaches. He sits right there. We want him there with us, and he's got ability to go talk to the guys. I'll say, hey, you need to go tell Isaac this, or he's like an assistant coach, and so we're anxious to get him back. And he'll come back stronger than ever, and he'll do a great job for us here in the next few years.
Yeah, no, I agree. Can't wait to see him back. Even just on the bench, he's. It's funny because I think if you were watching the live stream of the first weekend in Moorhead, you saw him, and people may not have known that he wasn't going to play. I knew he wasn't going to play, but he was still in the live stream because he was coaching, being a great teammate. Not a surprise at all.
I thought Acoy did a great job too.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Acoy on the bench, and he's animated and he's active, and when the fans, and loved our fans, I could hear our fans. I thought our fans were great this weekend, but it helps on the bench, especially on the road when you have a guy, like Acoy who's into it and cheering for each teammate. And, you hear that, and he's been just absolutely wonderful. Obviously he brings everything he's got to still help us win games. And that's what you do. That's what a team does. And so both he and Matt, when they're not playing, to O'Gorman, you got to give Coach Roby some credit. He's got his little coaching tree is really starting to develop big time with these young up and coming coaches, in my opinion. So very appreciative of Coach Roby and his staff and program for helping us have these two guys on our bench.
Coach Burke, talk about, you've played in front of fans, limited, but fans. And then when we play in Minnesota, the schools for the most part are no fans or maybe some family. Winona, of course, was absolutely nobody. Had to be just a little different atmosphere after being at the Pentagon a couple times.
Yeah, I was going to make mention of that. We're really excited to be at home this weekend, and again, have their families there and some fans. I didn't want to be there, but I got to go to the men's game. We got home on Saturday. So went out on Sunday as well. And I thought the fans were great. Like, there was an atmosphere there. And so there was you had the dance team and the cheer squad there up in a suite, but they definitely just provided a nice atmosphere. And it was so great because after being in Winona, there was our two teams and maybe 10 workers. And that was, and it was just, it's kind of, I don't know, it's almost like eerie playing in a gym where there's just nobody there. They didn't even pull out like the end bleachers. It's just, it's kind of a weird feeling, a weird atmosphere to be in. So then to go to the Pentagon and, like I said, just have fans and they were into the game, and it was a great game both days. So definitely looking forward to just having some fans this weekend and just the energy they'll provide us. So excited to be home. Yeah,
us too. Coach, real quick, Upper Iowa, what do you expect going to Fayette?
At home, it's a 15-point difference for them because they shoot often deep. They've got about 9 Nick Klugs. I mean, they have no conscience. They'll throw it up from 5 feet behind the NBA 3, and their coach Brooks McCown, he loves that. He encourages it. It's identity they have in recruiting, and he's done a great job with it. And he could do it. He was a heck of a player at Northern Iowa. That gym is a hot box. It's about 180 in there, and it's just, I love it. I think it's just, I mean, you're never going to play in a more fun gym to play. Great background to shoot into, loose rims. It's a shooter's paradise. It's heaven for a shooter. We always go in and have great games with them. They beat us in overtime there last year. We beat them here. I mean, it's always a great game there, and our guys need to be ready. And we're going to have a lot of guys ready to go because it is a marathon. And these Saturdays, these games after the Friday game, 20-hour turnaround, and it's the same for everybody. But you really got to just get yourself mentally ready and tough, and you got to have your body ready to go, and you got to push through some minor little aches and pains because it's quite a deal. And the intensity you play that first night and to come back with it that next night is a real true character builder. And it's really a tribute to these young men, young women, and being put in this situation, how hard they have to play. It's different. It's different when you play a different team the next day. I don't have an answer for it. I'm not saying it's better or worse, but it's different. You get a little more ready because maybe they have a player who you played AAU against, or so you have 2 opportunities to get ready for 2 different teams for whatever reasons. When it's that same team 2 times in a row, it's awesome. I love the preparation. Thanking good Lord we're playing, but it's like NBA, you got to win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 7. I mean, it's not easy playing that same team 2 days in a row and get back to the hotel, what have you. So it's going to be quite a weekend for us. And I'm really looking forward to the challenge. They always play us great.
Yeah, no, look forward to both. Again, women at home Friday night, 7, Saturday at 3 o'clock. And Coach Upper Iowa, I'm blanking on their game times. But we'll figure it out by Friday.
Yeah. You know what, too? I think, Josh, sometimes I think they're looking at some things as well, too. So they're still trying to, real quick, right now, only their families are allowed tickets and things like that. We're still going to try to find out the ticket piece. I know my parents have all been asking and texting. Some of that will still be determined this week. Hey, Josh, I was going to mention, too, I had a really good meeting with Dave Primus. Enjoy and appreciate his help. But that last week against Wayne right now, we're scheduling some form of function for our alumni. We'll have something for them. We'll get word to them. We'll get that out. Yep. And but we're doing something both nights, Friday and Saturday or whatever. And so just if they could mark that on their calendar, our last home weekend against Wayne, we're definitely going to be doing something. Okay.
And someone in the chat could have been our good friend Ryan Hilgeman, 6 and 2 p.m. this weekend for you. So I'm going to turn it back over to Emily to wrap up our Augie Insider. Thanks, everybody. Spread the word. We're here every Monday at noon.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, KB.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Hope to see some of you out at the Pentagon again this weekend. Don't forget to get your tickets. If you have any questions on those, go ahead and shoot me an email or give me a call. Otherwise, catch the men on goaugie.com/live, and we'll see you next Monday.